Okay, so today's lecture is kind of an apology lecture because I goofed it. Um, I had been telling my patients something for probably the last 20 years that was absolutely wrong. Um, and so I'm going to have to correct my mistake. What I was talking about was the metabolism of the muscles, how we get energy to the muscles. And what I said was that you initially have some molecules that break down and you break it into ATP, and ATP is the energy molecule that helps to fire the muscle. And then I said for the next 15 minutes, we are on anaerobic metabolism. Um, and then after 15 minutes, you go into the aerobic metabolism. Well, that's just not true. Um, and so I got to admit my mistake. Um, so what actually is going on is initially we use a chemical called creatine, which basically uh, 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 turns in, feeds into the ATP system. And that lasts you for about maybe at the most 10 seconds. So if you're doing a 100-meter dash and it's only going to take 10 seconds, you can get by with just using that creatine to power the muscles. You don't even need to breathe if you're doing the 100-yard dash, um, uh, because it's such a fast exercise that you don't really use oxygen too much. Now, on the other hand, and excuse me. Now, on the other hand, is the weight training. The person who lifts the weights for a few reps and then he rests. The reason he's resting is he's trying to build back up the creatine in his muscles. We make creatine from other amino acids in the body. So whenever we take in protein, that gets broken down to amino acids, and that gets converted to creatine. And then you can use that creatine to fire your muscles through the development of ATP. Um, now, after about 10 seconds or so, you start using an anaerobic process. And I thought, oh, okay, you got to use that for the first 50 minutes. No, not really. I'm sorry. Anaerobic metabolism is used next, and it uses sugar without oxygen to make ATP. And you basically take one sugar molecule, you go through this anaerobic pathway, and you develop two ATP molecules. So it's a little bit better than the creatine system. And also because you have loads of carbohydrates in the body, you can get a lot of sugar made. And so it's a lot better than using the creatine, which you have to kind of make. Um, uh, and you run out of fairly easily. The anaerobic process is very fast, but it doesn't have a lot of volume uh, because eventually you run out of this carbohydrates. And also because it's not that efficient, um, uh, you're not really making that many ATP molecules. You can't fire the muscles forever. So after about roughly about, I think it's supposed to be about 2 minutes, um, you uh, you shift into the aerobic metabolism. Um, Now, in sports, the anaerobic system is used quite a bit during the 400-meter and 800-meter um, uh, races. But after that distance, it's pretty much all aerobic. So, you're talking only a few minutes before you're going to shift into aerobic metabolism. Once the aerobic metabolism starts, your body starts using oxygen to to break down the sugar molecules, and you get into a system that they call the Krebs cycle. Now, you may have learned the Krebs cycle in your chemistry class. I can tell you the first time that I saw it, I pretty much ignored it because I couldn't figure it out. Eventually, I had to learn it for medicine, so I can figure out what it's all about. I'm not going to memorize it though because it's too long. But one of the things about the Krebs cycle is that it kind of loops around on itself, so it keeps on circling. So you put in one sugar molecule and some oxygen, and you get one sugar molecule providing 21 ATP molecules. Now remember, the anaerobic system made 2 ATP molecules. The aerobic system, you got 21 ATP molecules. So it's much more efficient. You got loads of these energy molecules from that one molecule of sugar. And so you can provide a lot of energy by the use of oxygen, breaking down sugar. Um, and that's why, the people who run any distance at all are going to have to breathe faster, their heart's going to pump more, etc., to provide all this energy to their muscles. But at the same time, it's also why the athlete who does marathons can do his marathon distance of 26 miles. Now, again, this uses mostly sugar. It does use some fats also. And there's tons of fat, but a limited amount of sugar in the body in the form of carbohydrates. Once you run out of carbohydrates in the marathon, you call it hitting the wall. All of a sudden, you're relying on only fats to provide the energy, and you get very sluggish. I mentioned that during the keto diet, you're going to feel the same way, fairly sluggish. You're not going to be able to perform very well. When I did the keto diet, I couldn't run at all. I didn't have any glucose to provide all that quality energy, and so I just felt like I couldn't do much of anything. Um, so that's it about the energy systems of the muscles. And like I said, I have to apologize because I thought the anaerobic system could take you for 15 minutes. Boy, was I wrong. Anyhow, um, I did try to clear it up a little bit better today. All right, take care, guys.